guys, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, welcome. I am Ashley. I'm a homeschooling mom with 8 kiddos, ranging from 14 down to 6 months. I wanted to do a video today of something that I actually saw on Facebook of somebody asking in one of the groups that I'm a part of. I don't know if it was like a homeschooling high school group, I can't remember, but they said, what do you tell your kids when they have a fear of missing out of the public school experience? And somebody actually, it prompted me to respond to them because I was so not touched by their response, but it made so much sense to me because my high schooler has asked that before, like, am I missing out on things, because the majority of his friends are public school kiddos. And so, I'm always like, no, you're not missing out. You can do, the same things that you can do. And trust me, it's what high school is now. I mean, it was bad when I was there, but even worse now. And it's not something that you want to be a part of. But somebody said something, and they said, it is like a trade-off. You gain something that public school kids don't, and some things you might miss out on. And it was interesting to me because a lot of times we try and justify our decision to homeschool through the end, through 12th grade. And a lot of times people say, I'm going to send my kids back so they can do sports and they can do, have all these experiences, have prom, have homecoming, have football games, have all these things. And typically our response is automatically, as homeschooling parents, no, you're not going to miss out on that. It's not worth it. Yes, it's fun, but the other side to public school, it's just not worth those few things. And the way this other person worded it was so much more, I don't want to say truthful, because I feel like what I told him is truthful, but it's much more of a logical response. Saying that, yes, there are things that you cannot do as a homeschool high schooler. Now, with that being said, there are some public school districts that allow homeschoolers to be a part of extracurriculars, sports, and things like that. In my area, there's not. You are not allowed to do that. There's nothing, there's no opportunities for that, which is fine. But I think that was one of the things that he was most concerned about, which he has expressed before. And yes, there are things that you will miss out on. And I don't mean that is what high school is about. And it's not. I think that it's hard sometimes as parents because you want them to really enjoy, and understand the benefit of homeschool. But if they are watching movies that really portray high school in a different way, then, that doesn't portray the bullying, or it doesn't portray, I don't know, drugs, violence, all these kinds of things, then they see it as just this, rainbows and unicorns, and it's this great experience. And there are so many negative experiences with public school that don't get mentioned in movies, Disney movies, whatever. So while your homeschooler might miss out on that, the trade-off is that they get to do so many things that public schoolers do not. My oldest is a 4th degree black belt. He is not a certified instructor because he cannot be until he's 16, but that is his goal. And so he is able to, because other than his age, he is in the martial arts academy that he is a part of, he is able to do pretty much everything that a certified instructor does as far as helping. I mean, he is there every day, unless he has baseball. He is there every day and helping with classes and all of the things. And he helps judge competitions, and he helps judge testing and all of these things. And they have instructor series, and they have workouts, and they have all these things during the day a lot of times, because the majority of the certified instructors are adults. And so he gets to be a part of that. That is a trade-off. I constantly remind him, if you were in public school, you would not be at your extracurriculars like you are now, because you would get off school at 2:30, whatever. And as soon as you got home, you'd have to do homework. Whereas typically the time that he would get home, we're already on the road to drop kids off at their extracurriculars. And so as a trade-off to being able to stay at home, among all of the other positives of homeschool, he gets to do his extracurriculars more and act as almost as an adult, because he has the freedom to do these things during the day and get his workouts in and get his training in and do all of these things and be a part of that, because the majority of the people that he trains with that are his age are in public school. So that's a big trade-off. A trade-off for me is I saw something recently on Facebook that said this huge amount of hours. I don't even remember the amount of hours. 1,500 maybe? I'm just guessing. I think it had a 5 and it had a 1. I think it's 1,500 hours that you get with your child by homeschooling. That is also something that your child gets with siblings and with their parent that homeschools. And while they might not see the significance of that now, it is tremendously significant as their upbringing and as their younger siblings that get to grow up with them, whether or not they fight, because mine fight. But instead of seeing each other for 30 minutes, an hour a day, they're together all the time. And so they get to interact and they get to be a part of each other's lives. And while they might fight and they might not see the benefit of that at the time, there is a huge benefit to that. Also, your child gets to sleep in. I let my kids sleep in. If my kid has a baseball game and we don't get back home, or they have a tournament, or they have a testing or whatnot, and almost every day of the week, they get back home late. And so they get to sleep in. And if they did not homeschool, they either, number one, would be dead tired because they wouldn't be able to sleep in, or they would not be at their extracurriculars as late as they are and helping out and training as late as they are, or but my two older kids are, and sometimes my third kiddo are at their extracurriculars late. So the trade-off is that, yes, you might miss out on things, but your trade-off is that you get to sleep in. You get to go to your extracurriculars as much as you want without having to worry about doing homework, without having to worry about getting enough sleep, without worrying about, is something going to conflict with what I am doing outside of school? None of that matters. None of that matters. And so my take-home point in this video is that it's not, you don't have to fib and say, no, you're not missing out on anything. Everything is exactly the same as if you were in public school. Everything is just, just great. You're not going to miss out on a thing. Your high school experience is going to be exactly the same as anybody else in public school, because it's not. And if you are honest about that with them, they will trust you more that the benefits of homeschool outweigh the benefits of public school. And there's a few benefits of public school, and I mean very, very few. None that I'm concerned about at all, because none that mean anything to me at all. But the fact that your high schooler at some point might come to you, because especially if their majority of their friends are in public school, then they get to hear about all of these things. And you just have to reiterate to them, make them a list of all the things that they get to do that public school kids don't. And then make a list of things that the public school kids do get to do, and what is the alternative to that as a homeschooler? Where can they find an activity that is comparable to that? Where can I find a prom? Where can I find a graduation? Where can I find a homecoming dance? Where can I go to football games and support a school that I like or that my friends go to without actually going to that school? So there are just so many things, but I think that you just have to be honest with them that there are things that public school kids miss out on by going to public school and not being homeschooled. And I think it's just, if they understand that, then they can easily feel more comfortable in your decision to homeschool them all the way through. I also saw, there's conflicting people that go back and forth and very conflicting viewpoints on if your kid really, 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 really wanted to go back to public school, what would you do? And I am more of the mindset that, without being condescending, that I'm the parent and my job is to protect my children. And if I feel like homeschooling them is not just protecting them, but giving them the best education because I can tailor it to their needs, then that's what I'm going to do. And I think, without saying, no, I'm the parent and I make the decisions and this is how it's going to be. I don't mean saying it in that regard, but reiterating to your high schooler all of these things and just reiterating these things to them, because you don't want to make it sound like you made this decision so that you can control them through senior year. That's not my goal. Yes, my goal is to protect them from certain things that I feel like they should not be exposed to, or things that I can better educate them about. But, like I said, when they see things presented to them from public school, either by friends or by social media or by TV shows and all kinds of things, then it can kind of weigh on them. And so you just want to say it in a kind way, all of the benefits, and that there is always a trade-off. There's always a trade-off when you make a decision or you are a part of something There is always going to be a trade-off, and that's kind of a life lesson. And the more honest you are with them about that, the more they will trust you that you have made the right decision for them. Okay, let me know if you have any questions down below. I really enjoy making videos about my high schooler because it is such an experience to be a part of his life every single day. And I think it's very important that if you have some difficult times, you stick with it as best you can. And because I think the reward is just amazing if you stick with it all the way through. So let me know, guys, if you have any questions, and I will see you next time. Take care.